Here at 99 Spokes, we have our eyes on a lot of data, both on the bikes themselves, but also what you, the consumer, are searching for and comparing on our website. And over the years, one bike has consistently risen to the top of your collective interest, and that is the Trek Marlin. And this comes as no surprise to us. It's versatile, affordable, and readily available worldwide. But the model range can get confusing quick, especially for newer riders. At the time of filming this video, Trek's US website has 8 different Marlins for sale, and those come with 2 different frames. So in this video, my goal is to break down what the differences are between those 8 bikes, and maybe most importantly, what's the difference between those 2 frames. Lastly, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you the GOAT's take, or in other words, what bike do we at 99 Spokes think represents the best value across the entire range of Trek Marlins. But before we dive into this video, I just want to real quick ask that if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that little thumbs up button to like this video, as well as subscribe to our channel. That'll just help more people find it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to start by talking about what might just be the biggest differentiator between these 8 bikes, and that is the frame. Trek denotes these 2 different frames as either the Gen 2 frame or the Gen 3 frame. And as you'd probably guess, given the names, the Gen 2 is the older frame and has more traditional, or you could even say outdated, mountain bike geometry. It has a pretty dang steep head tube of 69.5 degrees, a 73-degree seat tube angle, and a shorter reach, lower stack height, and longer seat tube across all the sizes. Next, the frame features a standard 5mm quick release axle in the back and is spec'd to have a maximum of a 100mm fork up front. This Gen 2 frame is a great option for somebody looking for a bit more burly and capable commuter bike, or something they can take out on non-technical fire roads, but might not be the best for mountain biking. If that's what you're interested in, then check out the Gen 3 frame, which was updated last year by Trek. This bike features the same modern, progressive mountain bike geometry you'd find on bikes that cost 5 times as much. Things like a 66.5-degree head tube angle, a 74-degree seat tube angle, and a longer reach, higher stack height, and lower seat tube across all the sizes. It also has Trek's proprietary through skew rear axle, which is essentially just a 5mm skewer, but instead of threading into a nut on the other end, threads directly into the frame, and Trek claims that makes for a safer and stiffer frame. Lastly, Trek says that this 3rd generation frame is capable of handling a 120mm fork up front. Now, none of the models are currently spec'd with 120mm of travel, but if you wanted to upgrade it and make this bike that much more capable, you could do so. All of those things combined make this 3rd generation frame a great option for somebody looking to get into mountain biking. And for that reason, we are going to spend pretty much the rest of the video just focusing on bikes that come with that 3rd gen frame. The only exception is the Trek Marlin 4 and 5, which sadly are still both spec'd with that 2nd gen frame. And don't get me wrong, these are still great bikes, but we strongly believe that modern mountain bike geometry can enhance the riding experience just as much, if not more, than higher end components. And for that reason, if your budget will allow you to get one of those bikes with the newer frame, we highly recommend it. But with that caveat out of the way, let's start by talking about that least expensive bike, the Trek Marlin 4. This bike lists for $629, but is currently on sale for $529. The Marlin 4 is available in a relatively limited number of sizes, ranging from extra small to medium/large. The extra small and small are going to come on 27.5-inch wheels, and everything else on 29. The extra small is also the only model that's going to come with just 80mm of travel. Everything else comes with a 100mm SR Suntour XCE coil sprung fork. You're also going to get a Shimano Tourney 3x7 drivetrain, some Tektro MD280 mechanical disc brakes, and non-tubeless ready rims. Now, the rear wheel on that Marlin 4 is actually going to come with a free wheel instead of a free hub and cassette, and that's going to make it pretty much impossible to upgrade anything other than that 3x7 drivetrain it comes with. Lastly, the Marlin 4 is going to come with Bontrager's XR2 comp tires. They have a wire bead, and just like the rims, are not tubeless ready. All in all, even with that sale price of just $529, I don't really think this Trek Marlin 4 is a great value. Components like those mechanical disc brakes and the free wheel instead of a free hub on that rear wheel are going to limit what you can do with this bike, and I just don't picture it lasting a very long time. So let's move on and talk about the Trek Marlin 5, which lists for $739, but just like the 4 is on sale right now for just $599. The Marlin 5 is available from extra small all the way up to double XL and comes in a wide range of tire sizes going from 26-inch all the way up to 29-inch. All of these bikes feature the SR Suntour XCM32 fork with 100mm of coil sprung travel. You'll also get a Shimano Altus 2x8 drivetrain, and I'm very thankful to say some hydraulic disc brakes from Tektro. These are the HD 275 brakes. All in all, I think this Marlin 5 is substantially better than the Marlin 4. And if you really are looking for the cheapest possible way to get into mountain biking, then yeah, this Marlin 5 is a good option. But a better option would be the Marlin 6. And that is the cheapest way that you can get a Marlin with that new Gen 3 frame. The Marlin 6 lists for $899, and just like the Marlin 5, comes in sizes extra small all the way up to double XL. It's also going to feature a 100mm SR Suntour XCT fork, those same Tektro HD 275 hydraulic disc brakes, and the Shimano Dior 1x10 drivetrain with an 11 to 46 tooth cassette on the back. Now, if you're not familiar with what a 1x drivetrain means, essentially you take off that front derailleur and put all the gears on the rear wheel. This makes the bike lighter, quieter, and maybe most importantly, less stuff to go wrong. And pretty much every modern mountain bike comes with a 1x drivetrain these days. So it's pretty cool that Trek is giving you this feature in a bike that costs less than $1,000. Another great feature is that this bike comes with tubeless ready rims. Now, you're still gonna get some wire bead Bontrager XT3 tires, but should you want to ditch the tubes altogether and upgrade to a tubeless system, all you need to do is just get new tires, not replace your entire wheels. And that's gonna save you a ton of money in the long run. So all in all, this Trek Marlin 6 is an impressive bike for being just $899. And again, if you can save your pennies and upgrade up to this level 6 model, I don't think you're gonna regret it. Next up is the Trek Marlin 7, which retails for $999 and is available in sizes small through double XL. Now, this is gonna be the first bike that's going to break away from the SR Suntour suspension, and it's gonna come with a RockShox Judy coil fork. And everything else on the bike other than that fork is actually identical to the Trek Marlin 6. So essentially you're paying $100 more to get a RockShox coil fork instead of an SR Suntour coil fork. And to be honest, I don't really think that's worth the money. So we're gonna go ahead and move right on along to the Trek Marlin 8, which is the highest end bike in the range and retails for $1,299. The bike comes in sizes extra small all the way up to extra large, and once again has a range of tire sizes ranging from 26-inch on those smaller sizes up to 29-inch. And just like the Marlin 7, you are going to be getting a RockShox Judy, but this time around it's going to have an air fork instead of a coil fork. Now, if you're not sure what that means and why I'm making a big deal out of it, essentially a coil fork works kind of like a slinky. It's a metal spring that goes up and down, and there's limited amount of adjustment that you can make. An air spring, on the other hand, is kind of like a balloon. You squeeze it and you compress the air and it pushes back again. And you have essentially infinite tuning to that fork based on how much air you put into that air spring. And that makes it great for riders who might be growing and changing sizes and weight as they ride, or you like to ride varied terrain where some days you might want your fork to be super stiff, and other days you might want it to be a little more soft and supple. An air spring allows you to do that. Lastly, air-sprung forks tend to be just a little bit lighter than their coil-sprung counterparts, and that's just one more reason why I think it's really cool that Trek's gone ahead and spec'd this highest-end Marlin with an air fork. Another thing that they've done is put a 12-speed drivetrain on this bike. Instead of having just 10 gears like the Marlin 6 and 7, the Marlin 8 comes with SRAM's SX Eagle 12-speed drivetrain with an 11 to 50 tooth range. And the upgrades don't stop there. It's also going to come with the Shimano MT200 hydraulic disc brakes and is the only Marlin to come with a dropper post, which is super cool. Lastly, this Marlin 8 does come with tubeless ready rims and in this case, tubeless ready tires as well. Those are going to be the Maxxis Ardent tires. And all of that makes for a bike that is extremely capable straight out of the box. To be honest, if I were to buy this Marlin, I don't think there's anything that I would want to change to take it on the majority of the rides that I do. And that's saying something for a bike that's $1,300. So does that mean that the Trek Marlin 8 is gonna win the award for the GOAT's take? Not quite. We're actually gonna give that to the Trek Marlin 6. We think that that bike packs the most value into the $899 price tag, and sure, you're still gonna get a coil fork and a 10-speed drivetrain instead of a 12-speed, but you get that Gen 3 frame. And what that means is that if you fall in love with mountain biking and maybe want to make some upgrades down the road, you don't need to worry about having a part that's not going to be compatible or if your frame's worth upgrading. It really is a solid frame, and that's the main reason we're going to give the award to that Marlin 6. Now, the Marlin 8 does deserve an honorable mention. Like I said a second ago, it really does have just about everything you need to go on an average trail ride, but at that $1,300 price point, there is quite a lot of competition, even against some of Trek's own bikes, like the Trek Roscoe 6 or the Excalibur 8. But that's just our take. We want to hear yours. Let us know in the comments which of these Trek Marlins you think packs the most bang for the buck, or if you take a different sub-$1,000 hardtail altogether. In addition, if you have any further questions about the Trek Marlin, please put those down there in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Lastly, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and most importantly, remember that bikes are for everyone. Have fun out there.